Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a bit of a different video. I know I've been filming quite a bit of fashion content on here, but I think today, sorry I'm just getting comfortable, but I think today I want to talk about something that has, that I've been dealing with basically since I became an amputee, and so losing my train of thought already as usual. I feel like I don't even want to edit this. It's just like I just want to put it out there what I'm saying, but probably will because I talk crap. But yeah, I just wanted to discuss something because I've been having to deal with a lot of stuff since becoming an amputee. So I lost my leg 6 years ago. For anybody that doesn't know me, or anybody that has never watched any of my videos before, I do wear a prosthetic leg. Like I said, I have done for 6 years. So, but with that comes, obviously I went through an awful lot, and with that comes a lot of trauma, not in the sense of physical trauma, which there is obviously physical trauma, but emotionally, what I have to deal with is a lot. And I think sometimes we use our social media platforms for all the best bits that we want to share with our lives, which is completely fine. I want to do the same. I don't want anyone to look at anything I put up and think she's depressed, she's depressive, she's this, she's that, negative, all them things, because I'm not that at all. And I think everybody who knows me will say that I am far removed from any of those that I said. But if that's the things that you want to label yourself, then that's completely fine. If you have those traits about you, then if that's how you want to be, then that's fine. But that's not me, and it's never been. And I wouldn't want to basically share anything with you that wasn't me. And I know, like I said, we all want to share the best bits on our social platforms, but I think it's also important to highlight the fact that there is things that people don't know, and there's a lot of things that I have dealt with that I probably won't ever speak about, but I can say that I've never been depressed. I have said a lot that I deal with anxiety, which I do, and that's a daily struggle, not to the point where I'm like in my house all the time. It's just that it can take me a while to get out of my own head to get out the door, and there's techniques that I've used to help me with that, and it's also mind over matter. So being said, I know obviously the title of this video is about discrimination, and it's something that when you become permanently disabled, or whatever you want to label yourself. I know there's people out there that say, no, I'm not disabled, I'm able-bodied, blah blah blah. That is fine, but I have a missing leg and sometimes it's hard, and I think I'm trying to articulate this in the best way that I possibly can. I do sometimes struggle, my body physically, sometimes mentally, like I said, but when you become to a point where your body's changed and you'll never get it back, that's quite hard to deal with. I was 24 when I lost my leg, and it, like I said, it was hard. I'm gonna get through this without crying. because I can. Yes, don't cry. Cool. I was 24 and it was hard, and when you are then learning how to then cope with a new life, you then learn about all prosthetics and you learn all the things that you can and can't do, and that is down, some of that's down to personal choice. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't even want to wear prosthetics, which is fine. They're not for everyone. But for me, I think what I wasn't prepared for is very much the discrimination, judgment side of things. And I'll tell you where that occurs a lot on an everyday basis. So I have a valid blue badge. And I'm only going to talk about this because I feel like within the past few weeks, this topic I'm going to talk about has gotten so much worse. There's a topic I'm going to try and tell you this in a brief nutshell without making this video the longest video in history. But I'm literally just going to scratch the surface with this topic. And I know there's other people out there that feel the same way and have been through similar experiences. But anyway, like I said, I have a valid blue badge that allows me to park in a disabled space because obviously I really need it, and it is obviously for distance walking, but I need to open the door fully when I get out of the car because I've got no bend. Like I can't bend my leg round. If I have to park in a regular space, then it's really difficult for me to get out of the car, like really difficult. But sometimes if there's no disabled spaces available, that is what I'll have to do, is obviously park in a regular space. I hope I can get this video done before my camera cuts out. But yeah, so I experienced this firsthand, obviously, when I didn't even have a prosthetic, and I would get people staring at me, looking at me, shaking their head, making comments, and I didn't understand. And this video is not just about a parking space. I will get to the point, right? So please continue to watch if you want. You can click off. I don't mind, whatever you want to do. But like I said, this topic is getting out of hand, and I have a voice and I would like to use it because I know I am not the only one. So yeah, like I said, I've been parking in a disabled space, and yeah, this is basically getting out of hand. The treatment that I am being exposed to, and now I feel like I have a child who will eventually see her mum being treated the way that I do, and I just can't have it. So I will give you an example of the treatment that I get just for parking in a space. So we're talking, people want to involve me, no, they want to involve themselves where I park a vehicle. It's that big of a deal, right? So they want to make me feel like crap for parking somewhere where I have got all right to park. And like I said, I'll get to the point. I'm probably going to cut all this out anyway. But yeah, so I will give you an example. So a few years ago, and this was on Christmas Eve, my sister and I parked in Asda car park. So my local Asda, which is 10 minutes drive from my house. I could already say, I knew what was going to happen. I knew it because I could see this lady, and there is a specific age group and look of person that judges me on a daily. So this older woman is already sharking us out, basically. pulled in the space, and I think I even said to my sister, like, she's staring at us. My sister looked, she's like, yeah, she is. I said, it's fine, I'm prepared. Because that's the thing about this thing, you build a thick skin. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, knowing that when I am going out, I have to prepare myself for war. That's what it feels like. My anxiety goes through the roof. And I don't think this is, and I'll get to all that anyway. So I will give you an example. Like I said, we pull in this space, this woman's already staring at us. We get out the car, so obviously you can only see the top half of me, but my prosthetic is on show. So I don't cover my prosthetic. Everyone knows I have a metal leg. I have a prosthetic leg. If I get out the car, that is what you will see. And this is it, okay? This is what you will see on show, okay? So you can see I have a physical disability. And I get out the car. I'm going to tell you this very brief because I have a few stories that I would like to share with you and then get to the point after. We'll get there. I can just talk. But yeah, so like I said, get out the car, whatever. I open my boot because I was getting like her bags out, and she just stood staring at me like this. And I said, literally, it got me that uncomfortable. I said, are you okay? And she just goes, that's a disabled space. Bearing in mind, baby girl's legs on show, okay? I go, yeah, I've got a prosthetic leg. Well, that was it then. Because she'd got to a certain point and a certain level of angry, there was no coming back. She couldn't say I'm sorry at that point, right? Because she'd already lost it. In her head, I was this ignorant person that didn't give a crap that she was getting her elderly mother out of her car, right? She didn't care about that. That was what I was, okay, to her. So me proving her wrong, it didn't matter. I was too far gone in her head, right? So then she starts swearing at me and my sister. But this is Christmas Eve. So we're just going on a last minute run for your Christmas bits that you don't need, that you really don't need. And yeah, she starts swearing at us. I'm then swearing at her, getting really, really angry, shaking to the point where I'm shaking, right? And the worst thing about this, I was 20 weeks pregnant. So 20 weeks pregnant, you can see that I have a very large bump. She didn't care. And I do think it was, and I'm not just saying this to say it and playing that card, but it was half to do with what colour our skin was. I know for a full fact, just because of the way she was towards us. I could just tell, like, I know the difference between, and I think anybody that's gone through any similar experience to do with race or anything, you can tell when you're being treated a certain way, let's just say that. So it was to do with that. It was to do that I proved her wrong, that I did have a physical disability. I did have a blue badge in my window, but she didn't care. She didn't care that I had a blue badge. She didn't care that I had a prosthetic leg. She didn't care that I just proved her wrong. In her head, I was ignorant, and that is how I stayed, because I was verbally abused, shouted at. Like, I'm pretty sure if I wasn't pregnant, I would have got into a physical fight. That's how bad, and how much people think that their opinion, where I park, is their right to hail abuse at me. That's the bottom line. So it got to the point where we actually had to get the security involved from Asda, and then we actually got the police involved. And now, because we did take that further, we didn't leave it. To be fair, I actually was going to leave it because I didn't have the energy. But my sister was like, "There's no way that she can go around treating people that way." And yeah, it went on for a few weeks. We were involved with the police, and she now has that on her record. And I'm so glad that my sister, pushed me to do that, because I really hope that she would never do that to anybody ever again. And I don't mind being that punching bag for her to realise that, for her never to do that to anybody else again, because I wouldn't want people to feel that victimised for going in a place where they belong, you know? So I just, I'm actually shaking, like, filming this. Like, it's just awful, and I can't even believe I'm sat here speaking about parking spaces. But like I said, I'll get to the point. I will get to that point. When I get to the point, you'll be like, Sean, that's crap. But so the reason why I wanted to do this was because, like I said, that's not the only, I could go on and on and on and on and on with the stories I have over the past 6 years. But basically, the reason why I wanted to do this, because it happened two big arguments in the exact same day, and that was a few weeks ago, and I've been sat thinking whether to film this video for a few weeks. So sorry guys, my camera died on my vlogging camera, so I'm using a different camera, so everything might look different. And I wish I'd just used this camera from the start now, because I feel like the lighting looks so much clearer on this. So I do apologise for the change in look. I feel like I was really flowing then, speaking to you about that situation, and now I don't really know where I got up to, because I've just had to let this camera charge a little bit. Anyway, I think I was at the co-op. So yeah, the guy at the co-op, like I said, that's where I picked up. So sorry that my throat is croaky as well. It's 11:15 at night. I feel like it's the only time I get to film anything now is late at night, because of this little munchkin. But anyway, let me get back to the co-op. So like I said, I had clocked the guy doing that to us, like shaking his head at us. So I opened the door, and Will was already winding down his window, and it was Will that said, what are you shaking your head for? And bearing in mind, we're not aggressive people. When we're speaking to these people, we're not aggressive in the slightest. We're always trying to educate. And I feel like that's why I want to tell everyone, and that's why I want to, whenever I see anybody do anything, I'm like, you know, I'm the first to say something or the first to challenge, and it's only because of that reason. It's never because I'm looking for an argument, because who wants to be in an argument every single day over a car park space? Like, it's actually insane. But it's bigger than that. I'm going to get to that point. But yeah, so it was my husband that said, I think he said, "You all right, mate?" or something like, "You all right, mate?" And he was like, "Well, yeah, why you don't understand why you park in there," or something. And he was like, "My wife has actually got a disability." And he was like, "Well, you know," but I can't even remember what he actually said, like words, because I was so angry at this point. I got to a certain point where I was just so mad, and me and Will were both then going at him at one point in the conversation. We were there for about 10 minutes, and basically, in a nutshell, he was like, he's got a disability and he doesn't use the spaces because he wants to keep them for people that really need them. So in other words, this doesn't mean a thing to him. It doesn't matter that I had a disability, because like I said to you, I can show them this. I can get out the car and stand there and say, "Look at me, look." It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I've got a blue badge. These things don't matter. It's the fact that they have already made up this thing in their mind of who we are. Yeah? Who we are. And to them, we're ignorant, we're rude, we're taking up a space that we shouldn't be parking in. And cutting a very long story short, after he shouted at us, that was his point, because he weren't saying sorry. He wasn't saying sorry. And he was saying something about, did he say something about the army or something? And funny enough, my husband was in the army for 8 years. So that, you know, he said something about that. He then, my husband shut him down with his, whatever his point he was trying to make about the army. And what else was he saying to us? I can't even remember now. It was just such a blur. Yeah, and at one point I just said, so I've not got the right to park here. I am not saying that. I am not saying that. And even my husband said, what you've seen, this is actually what he said to him word for word. What you've seen is two people pull in this space and you think that, you know, we basically borrowed a badge, done whatever, and just parked here very ignorantly. Is that a word? Yeah, might be now. Ignorantly. And you've then decided to shake your head at us, and even though we've proved you wrong, we're still wrong. I don't get it. I don't get it. But that was yeah, that wasn't nice, because that was what he said. He said, because of obviously our image, this is what Will said to him, because you see people like us, and he says, I don't get judged for parking in a space. He was an older man, and Will said, yeah, because you look old. And he went, as in to say, he wasn't old. He was an old man. He was a tall, old man. Who's gonna say anything to him for pulling in a space? No one. That's why he don't get judged. He didn't get it where we were coming from. And even Will said to him, you see a young couple, and we're 30, we're over 30, so we're not classed as very young. You know, we're younger than him, yeah, but we're not younger than obviously people in their early 20s. You know, that's classed as young. I wouldn't say we're really young, because we're not. We might look young, but we're not young. We you know, it's just such a frustrating situation. But that happened in the morning, and we were planning on going to, well, we went to East Midlands Outlet. We had a nice day shopping, dropped my sister home. We needed to go to Aldi. It's all the supermarkets. Anyway, so we pull in Aldi space, and don't think, and I'm going to tell you, this guy was drunk. He was drunk. And I'm not saying like Will's aggressive in any way, but my husband is a big guy, right? So obviously he pulls in the space. I don't know, yeah, if you've seen him on my channel, he's big, he's full of tattoos, you know. I'm not saying that's a stereotype at all, but I thought this guy was quite brave, to be quite honest. Just putting it out there. Anyway, so this guy then says, that's a disabled space, mate. I thought Will was gonna kill him. And I think it's because of what had already happened in the day. Our emotions were high before Will has a chance to get out the car, because I think Will swore and said, you know, what the F did you just say? And I don't think he realised how tall Will was when he got out the car. So I got out first, because I thought I need to handle this situation now. So I got out the car first, and I said, what did you say? I'm sorry, love. I'm sorry. And then Will was like, you know, Will was at a point where there was no coming back, and he went into Audi. I stayed outside. I got back in the car because Aria was asleep. So I stayed in the car. The guy sits on the side of the curb with his hand in his head. He was drunk. I wouldn't say drunk like drunky monkey, like slob, like whatever, but you could tell he'd finished work. He was wearing work boots, and I can probably say I don't know if it's because he was the only person that I've ever had say sorry to me. That's it. And he sat there with his hands on his head, just shaking his head, because I think he realised what he'd done at that point. And I overheard it. I was in the car, I'd obviously not speaking to him. He was, like I said, he was just sat there, and then his phone rang, and he was like, no, I'm outside Audi. And I think obviously the person on the phone was questioning where he was, and he said, because I need to wait here and wait for this guy to come out of Audi, because I need to make things right. And I thought at that point, right, there's no point in him talking to Will, because Will's far gone. He's past his sorry. Do you know what I mean? Like, you get to a certain point where probably certain situations where people try and say sorry to me, I'm gone. I'm then judging you because you're so rude and ignorant. Do you know what I mean? And it's hard to come back when someone's been swearing at you for them to then apologise, but that's very rare. But he's the first person that's ever said sorry and meant it. You know what I mean? Like I've had like other, you know, especially some older women go, oh well, sorry, I didn't know. And it's still the attitude to say sorry because it's so hard for them to even say it, which sometimes I actually love, because I'm like, you are saying sorry through gritted teeth right now, and I am actually enjoying it because I can. That's why. And so I overheard this guy obviously speaking to somebody on the phone. It turns out it was his mum, because his mum then walks her, I assume she said, where are you, because she was in our village. So she then walks around and she's like, what you doing? I think she gave him some money and was like, what you sat here for, get off the curb, and blah blah blah. Bearing in mind he was sat, so where the disabled spaces are, we pulled in the second one because we couldn't pull in the first one because he was sat on the curb with his feet on the disabled space, you know. So I was just like, oh, that's weird. So he was still sat there. His mum tells him to get up, so I get out the car because I thought he's waiting for Will. Will's gone at this point. He's not going to want to speak to this guy. So I get out the car and I said, look, if you want to say sorry, I said, I'm the person you want to be speaking to. I said, because my husband is not going to want to speak to you right now. I said, he's gone. I said, you don't want to even approach him. And because I think what you've got to remember, Will sees how it affects me, and he is angry at the situation, but then he's also even more angry for me. So there's only a few times where he's had to get really, really like shouty, or, you know, sometimes we say our point and we're done. You know, sometimes there's times where we're in the car and we're just like, oh, just leave it. Like, it's that type of point. But I think that's what people, what they don't realise is, because he, you know, he's not a boyfriend for 2 minutes, he's my husband. You know, see me at my all-time worst, you know. So actually I can't talk about that. Well, I don't want to cry. So that's what people don't realise. So anyway, he comes over to me, he's like, no, I'm really, really sorry. I was like, do you know what, I accept your apology, that's fine. I said, I don't want you to now feel bad, because it was one of them things where I could see him sitting with his hands in his head and I knew that he was sorry, and I then felt bad for him, because that's just how I am. You can ask any of my family or friends, I've got a huge heart, and I can openly say that about myself. It's one of them things, you know, that saying where people say, oh, if you've got a pound to your name, you give the 50p. I won't give the 50p, I give the whole pound. Do you know, it's one of them. It's like, I just love my family and friends, and I literally would do absolutely anything for them. So when I seen him like that, I was just like, oh God, like it really like pulled at my heart. So that's the reason why I got out of the car, because I didn't want him to also feel bad, but then will come out how, you know, how angry he was. I just wanted to squash it there and then. So, you know, I shook his hand and he was like, no, I'm really sorry. And his mum came over and she was like, look, I'm really sorry. Like, I think she said that she's dealt with stuff like this before, because I assume it was his sister, has cerebral palsy, and I think I've said that right, sorry. My throat's going now because it's just getting way too late. But yeah, so that was, she then was telling me some stories about that, and Will did come out in the end, and I just said, look, I said, we've said sorry and he's sorry and things like that. So I just spoke to Will and he was like, oh, that's fine. And then he come over to Will and he was like, look mate, I'm sorry, and blah 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 blah. And Will just said, that's fine, like I accept your apology, but don't ever do that again. And that was basically it. And I'm not going to tell you any more stories, because like I said, I'm going to be here for like all night. It'll be the longest video I've watched on YouTube. But I just want you to realise that even though there is so many people that abuse parking spaces, and so many people that yeah, like just park there willy-nilly, but I'm definitely not one of those people, and I was never that person before. Like I used to drive before I lost my leg. I never parked in a space. If there wasn't any spaces, then I don't even know what I did. Park on the side of the road. Like I would never park in those spaces. So the fact that other people do, that's up to them. I can't fight every battle. I've seen people do it. Seen people pull next to me, no badge, you know, just get out the car and go shopping. I'm not saying anything to those people. Nothing. And I've seen people when they do it, you know, they've seen me either get in or out of the car, and they do look very like sheepish, because it's like, oh crap, she, you know, she can park it, I can't. But then, even saying that, do you know what? I've never even given anybody a look. I've never judged anybody. If you do what you're doing, there's too much hate in this world to then go around, you know, shouting at somebody for a parking space. Like, I think we need to calm down. I think we need to chill, because, like I said as well, back to the anxiety thing. You know, when I go shopping, I don't go for arguments. I don't go for confrontation. I don't go, you know, to fight the world. I go to either go shopping with my daughter, to, you know, just go out with my friends, go with my mom, like, and oh God, it's just a weird world that we live in, and there's too much hate, especially on the internet. There's just too much. It's too much. Let's rein it back a bit. Let's, you know, be kind, like, show people support. Like, I see it all the time, and even on, like, you know, even when you see, like, you click on comments that are celebrities posted and they're like, hope you die, it's like, Jesus, like, let's not do that. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I could never be that sort of person. But I've never even said it, but when I even came back from New York, like I said, if you've never watched anything on my channel, I lost my leg in New York, and because it was on the internet and all the stories on the internet, and especially I think on the like Daily Mail and the Sun and things like that, I got trolled as well. I've never said that. I think I only told like a few people, but, you know, they trolled me for losing a limb. You know, I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, you know what I mean? So it's just, that's how I know, like, the internet is just a place of, it's good, it has its good points, but it also has its very, very bad points. And I think just that example there, and probably people can be like, what, you joking? I'm like, no, it's probably still on the internet now. People trolled me bad. So yeah, like I said, it's just the world that we live in, but let's just try and be kind, especially especially, like I said, no, I've not said, but that quote where it's, you know, be kind, and like basically be careful what you say, because you don't know the battles that people are fighting behind closed doors. Oh my God, I can't speak. Behind closed doors. You have no idea. I say it all now. People don't know the ins and outs of actually what I went through. Like, they don't, because I choose to keep some of that to myself, and one day maybe when I write a book I'll put it in there. But I choose to not only show you the bits that I want to see, because I think I have, you know, I've not been quiet about, I mean, everyone knows what happened to me, but they don't really know the full extent. I feel like the only people that know are the people that were in the hospital room or there when I lost my leg. That's the only way you will ever know, because it's hard to even describe into words. So it's one of them things. I've already been through enough. I don't need daily struggles. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's leave that there. So just going forward, I just want people to, even if someone's got a badge, you know, disabilities are not always visible. If I had my leg down, if I had trousers on to the floor, you would never know I was an amputee. I walk really well. I have my knee, so I've got, you know, my knee joint. You would never know. So, but it's just because it's personal choice that I choose to show my amputation. Not everybody shows their amputation. The amount of people that come up to me and say, God, I can't believe you show your amputation. I will never show mine. And I don't take that as an offence. Like, is that the right word? I don't take that as like oh God, should I be covering it? It's almost like, oh no, why? Like, and they say it as like, I wish I could do that. I can't even tell you how many people that have said that to me, like, oh, I wish I could show mine. Or, you know, I'm in a group on Facebook, and the amount of people that you know, if somebody posts a picture and they're, you know, they have their prosthetic shown, the amount of people that would say, wow, this is amazing, I wish I could do that, or I wish I had the guts to do that, or I wish I had I'm like, oh, let's just be who we want to be. Let's just, I don't know, there's so much I want to say, but I just don't want to make this video really long, so maybe I'll put it into another video with the actual main reasons why I show my prosthetic. And I don't know, that, yeah, maybe it can help, I don't know. And I only ever want to help, like even making this video, I want to use my voice for good. I don't want to use it for I don't know, I don't want to use it for anything other than anything positive. And that's the whole main reason why I did set up a charity, and you know, all the things that I can try and help anybody. And you don't even have to be an amputee. Like, if I can just help you in anything, like if you need a bit of guidance for strength, or I can tell you I've been through an awful lot so wherever it is, I can probably relate on some sort of level. But I'm gonna leave it here, but yeah, I just wanted to tell you that, and maybe it might make you look differently when you want to basically judge somebody or attack someone or verbally abuse them. Let's just think about what that person might have gone through. You haven't got a clue what they might have been going through, even that day, that month, that year. And your words hurt, words can push people over the edge, and it just might be your reckless actions that could basically make somebody really ill. So let's just always remember that, and just always be kind. But that is it. I'm gonna go to bed. I am tired. Yeah, it's 11:33, so, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe if you would like and comment. And if you've got any questions about absolutely anything, then please let me know. But if not, I will see you in the next video. Bye.